Our stopwatch has been running for about 6 minutes, and by the end of this story, 6 minutes later, in some cases, Salt Lake City police will have still not responded to the most urgent 911 calls. Good evening, I'm Fox 13 News investigative reporter Adam Herbets. For more than a year, we've been showing you how slow this department arrives on scene. And now, even though the city has hired more officers, we've also learned they've lowered their standards.
Yeah, please hurry, because it sounds like she's being assaulted right now.
I mean, it sounds like she's being raped currently.
We'll be out there as soon as possible.
When a 911 operator says as soon as possible, what does that really mean? Well, the answer depends on where you live.
I just saw a man attack a woman. These are an elderly couple that have been attacked.
Both of those calls came in March 2021 to the Salt Lake City Police Department. The first one, a suspected rape in progress, took 28 minutes for officers to arrive.
This woman, all I want to do is just find her and hug her and tell her that it's going to be okay.
The second case, an assault on an elderly woman, took more than an hour.
And he struck her in the face about right here, and she dropped. Fist right across the side of her face.
I think it's a direct relationship to our staffing.
This is the first interview Salt Lake City Police Chief Mike Brown has granted us since we started reporting on slow response times in spring 2021. Since then, he has hired more officers and response times have dropped.
We went through a difficult time. I think at the high water mark, we had 92 officers leave the department.
On average, Salt Lake City response times for the most urgent 911 calls were as slow as 18 minutes 36 seconds in August 2020.
We certainly didn't meet our goal.
That goal for Priority 1 calls, according to the department, was 4 to 5 minutes, but more than a year after our first story, we received multiple emails from the chief's new spokesperson, accusing us of making up that number. Quote, "We do not believe your reporting on this matter is accurate." The mayor's spokesperson was also confused.
Where do you get the 4 to 5 minutes? Can you justify where you have this on tape or on record?
Yeah, we have it on camera. Why change the goal from 4 to 5 minutes to 10 minutes?
You know, I don't know if the goal has ever changed.
You can hold that. Just hit spacebar.
Hit spacebar? Okay.
We're looking at priority ones in March.
Under 8 minutes. That's a good time, but I think we'd like to see them closer to 5, even 4 minutes. That's a good response time. I know that Chief Yule quoted, and he's a smarter man than I am, but he quoted the national average response time, and I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 minutes. And so, for a priority 1 call. And I think that's acceptable. That's something that, you know, when you call and you're in the worst situation that you've ever been in your life, 5 minutes is a long time even, but it's still better than looking at 8 minutes or even 10 minutes, because each time that clock ticks, it just seems like an eternity.
So did he misspeak, or?
I don't know. I don't know if he did or not. That is the first time I've heard that in its entirety.
Over the past year, the city's average response time for Priority 1 calls is 11 minutes and 58 seconds. We asked both the mayor and chief how they arrived at the new goal of 10 minutes.
That is not a politically directed number, but it was arrived at by the chief.
That's just been something that we've always looked at. It's a good average.
Disingenuous. It seems disingenuous, because here's the thing. That's not an expectation that the public should have.
Chris Bertram used to be deputy chief of the Unified Police Department. Part of his job was to manage response times.
I understand they may not be able to hit a goal of 5 minutes right now, and it looks better to say, well, our goal is 10. It's fake. Somebody is kicking in my front door right now at 1 o'clock in the morning, and that you're expecting that a 10-minute response time is appropriate and within reason and what the expectations of the public are? No.
For comparison, over the past several weeks, we've requested Priority 1 response times from every police department in Utah.
Cottonwood Heights, 3.4 minutes.
Most departments have responded. Some have not.
For instance, Roosevelt, less than a minute call, that's awesome. You'd like to live there. That's a good system in place if that's the average time. Heber City, 3 minutes. West Jordan, 8 minutes. Sunset, 2-minute response time. That's good.
Salt Lake City's response times might not be as bad as they were, but they are still among the worst in the state. Bertram says the best comparison is UPD, which has a 5-minute, 1-second response time. The mayor disagrees.
You really can't compare Salt Lake City Police Department to any other department.
Salt Lake City is a safe community. It's a great city. This is a great police department.
Both the chief and mayor have talked about how violent crime is down 3.6% over the past year, but according to their own report, violent street crime is up 20% over the past 2 years.
The truth is, nothing's changed in Salt Lake. It was unique in 1990. It's unique today.
This is not new.
Matt Evans, a former Salt Lake City police sergeant, says the city's high crime and inability to respond quickly is one of the reasons he left.
Crime is what it is. Most of the time it's generated by people that you can't control, but trying to put a glossier coat on it doesn't do any favors for anyone.
I have one of my children live in Salt Lake City, and it scares me. It scares me that if she was the victim of a violent crime, or a violent crime was in progress and she needed the help, concerns me. Yeah.
If you would like to see how your city's response times stack up with other departments across the state, the database we've put together is on the front page of our website, fox13now.com. Reporting in Salt Lake City, Adam Herbetz, Fox 13 News, Utah.